Hello and welcome to another class of English. Today we are going to work on language exercises. I am going to show you how to deal with them. So this will be an opportunity for you to review what you have learnt before. So let's have a look at the exercises and see how we can deal with them. So the first exercise, as you can see here, exercise A. Fill in the gaps with appropriate words from the list. Number 1. Mahjoub's mother is looking forward to gap her grandchildren in Spain. So as you can see here, okay, you have to use either the gerund or the infinitive. So let's have a look at the verb here. Look forward to. So look forward to, is it followed by the gerund or the infinitive? So are we going to use visit, visiting, or visited? So certainly it's not visited. So we are going to eliminate visited. We still have two options, visit and visited. Now I want you to think about it, okay? Can you think about it for a second, okay? And the correct answer is visiting, okay? So look forward to is always followed by the gerund, okay? Now, number 2, the teacher talked to the student, gap, phone rang in class. And you have three options here. You have who, whose, and who. Remember that we use who to refer to people. And we use whose to indicate possession and whom to refer to people as well. Now, the question here, okay, which phone rang in class? The answer is, it's the student. It's her or it's his phone which rang. So it's possession, and we said one of these indicates possession. So what do you think? Again, I want you to think about it. Okay, can you think about it for a second? And the correct answer is whose. Yes, whose indicates or is used to indicate possession. The teacher talked to the student whose phone rang in class. Exercise B. Give the correct form of the words in brackets. In this exercise, you have to provide the correct or give the correct form of these words. So you have to use prefixes and suffixes. And of course, you have to use the context as well. Now, let me show you how you can do this. Number 1, doing some volunteer, okay, the word you have here between brackets is volunteer. Work for your community is an act of good citizen. Another word here between brackets, which is citizen. Now, let's have a look at this word here, work. Work is what? It's a noun, okay? So what we need here is an adjective. We need an adjective to describe this kind of work. Now, the question is, what is the adjective that we can get from volunteer? Can you think about it again? I always want you to think about it before we correct. Can you think about it for a second? Give it some time. Well, the correct answer is this. Voluntary. Doing some voluntary work for your community is an act of good what? Good. And we have here citizen. And what we need here is a noun. We need a noun, okay? And it means the state of being a good citizen. Again, I want you to think about it before you give the correct answer. Okay, what do you think? Well, the correct answer is this: citizenship. Citizenship, okay? So doing some voluntary work for your community is an act of good citizenship. So as you can see, voluntary work is the kind of work that you do for your community, and you don't get paid for it, okay? You just do it, as I said, to help your community. And citizenship means the state of being a good citizen. Number 2, the headmaster says that students should, and we have application for scholarships before May the 15th. Okay, now I want you again to look here at should. Should is what? It's a modal verb. Okay, and you know that after a modal verb we need a verb without the infinitive to. So what is the verb of application, the verb that we can get from application? Again, as always, I want you to think about it for a second. Okay, so what do you think? What is the verb, okay, that we can use here? It's apply. Very good. It's apply. Okay, we say to apply for a job, to apply for a scholarship. Okay, so number 3. Many NGOs are teaching illiteracy gap women to read and write. So what we need here, again, I want you to look at women. Women is what? It's a noun. Again, so we need an adjective to describe these women. Okay, and as you can see here, NGOs, it's an acronym, okay, which means non-governmental organizations. Okay, so these organizations are trying to help these women to read and write. So again, I want you to think about it. Okay, so what do you think? Which adjective, what is the adjective of illiteracy that we can get from this word? It's illiterate. Illiterate women. Illiterate women cannot read and write. Okay? Again, so let's read this again. Many NGOs are teaching illiterate women to read and write. Next. Fill in the gaps with appropriate words or expressions from the list. Number 1, Amin was afraid of being punished, so he gap a story to justify his absence. And here you have 3 phrasal verbs: took up, gave up, and made up. So the phrasal verb that we need here means to invent something from your imagination, to create something in order to avoid being punished. Okay? So which one do you think we should be using here? Which one means to invent a story from your imagination? Is it took up again, gave up, or made up? And I want you to think about it. Okay? So it's made up. Very good. Made up means to create something from your imagination. Number 2, we've worked hard today, let's go, and we have gap and fun. And you have three options here. You have lose, take, and have. Okay, so we need a verb which collocates with fun. So we need a collocation here. Okay, and remember that a collocation is, it's two words which always go together. So which collocates with fun? Okay, again, I want you to think about it. It's what? It's have fun. Okay, we say have fun. Very good. So let's read it again. We've worked hard today. Let's go out and have fun. Now, next exercise, D. Put the verbs in brackets in the right tense. So in this exercise, you have to give the correct tense. So I'm going to tell you something which is going to help you, do this exercise. So first, I want you to look here at these time indicators. So we have the first one here, the time indicator we have here, we have for, and we have before. And something else we have here is this, we have moved, okay? So we already have a verb in the simple past. And we need, we need a verb, we need a tense, okay, which tells us that something else happened before this, okay? A tense which is used to describe a period of time which happened before this event, okay? So what do you think? Which tense is used for activities that started in the past but before something else in the past? And something else here, we have for. For tells us that this tense should be continuous, okay? So the tense is actually that we should be using here is the past perfect continuous. So Tom's uncle had been working in Marseille for several years before he moved to Paris last year. Okay, now exercise number 2, sentence number 2. We have my parents retire gap by the end of 2018. So we are going to do the same thing here. We will try to look at the time indicators we have here. We have by the end of 2018. By the end of 2018 means before 2018. So this event here will be completed before 2018. Okay, so which tense do you think we should be using here? Well, again, I want you to think about it before I give you the answer. It's the future perfect. Okay, remember that the future perfect is a verb tense which is used for actions that will be completed before some other points in the future. This action, as I said before here, will be completed before 2018. So the correct answer is this. So it's will have retired. My parents will have retired by the end of 2018. Again, so here we have two tenses. We have the past perfect, remember, the form of the past perfect is had plus been plus a verb plus ing. For the future perfect, it's will plus have plus a verb in the past participle. Next, exercise E. Rewrite the sentences beginning with the words given. 1. Heavy rain has destroyed many roads in the south of Morocco. And the sentence begins with, many roads. Now let's look at the sentence again. We have heavy rain has destroyed. Okay, so heavy rain is a subject. Has destroyed is a verb. Many roads is the object. And the sentence begins with many roads, with the object. So whenever we start the sentence by the object, it's the, you know that you're dealing with the passive voice. And the form, again, the form of the passive voice is, if you remember, it's the subject plus verb to be in the tense of the main verb. So verb to be here should be in the present perfect. Okay, plus the past participle of the verb. Okay, so now I want you to think about it before I give you the answer again. So what do you think? Well, the answer is this. Many roads have been destroyed by heavy rains in the south of Morocco. As you can see here, many roads, it's the subject. We have the tense, which is the present perfect, okay? And here we have verb to be, have been destroyed by heavy rains in the south of Morocco. So here you have also to decide, to know the tense before you try to give the answer. Now, number 2, will you drive the kids to school? Mr. Lynch asked. As you can see here, the sentence is in quotation marks. So automatically we're talking about reported speech. You have to report this sentence, and you have to report it and of course make the necessary changes. Another question here, as you can see here, will you drive the kids to school? This is what? It's a question. Very good. And when we report a question, the reported clause should begin with what? Should begin with, can you think about it? Should begin with if or whether, okay? And then, again, make the necessary changes, the time shifts. So now let's look at the tense of this sentence. We have will. Will you drive the kids to school? Which tense is this? Can you think about it? It's the future simple. And will, okay, turns into what? Into would in reported speech. So now, can you think of the answer? Okay, can you put together all of these things, all of these elements? Well, the correct answer is this. Mr. Lynch asked his wife if she would drive the kids to school. So now let's have a look at the changes, okay, the differences between direct speech and reported speech. As you can see here, we have if, okay, will turns into would, okay. Now let's move on to the next sentence. Number 3, Layla didn't get a front seat at the theatre because she didn't buy a ticket early. And the sentence begins with if. Here we know that we are dealing with the conditional sentences, and this year you are responsible for 2 types of conditionals: conditional type 2 and conditional type 3. And now the question that we should be asking, should we use conditional type 2 or type 3? The answer is easy. Well, you just have to look at the verbs that we have in the sentence. We have didn't get and didn't buy. So if these verbs are in the simple present, then you have to use conditional type 2. If they are in the simple past, then you have to use conditional type 3. Okay, so let's have a look at this. The verb didn't get. It's in the simple past. Okay, and here we have didn't buy. It's the same thing. So here we should be using conditional type 3. Remember that we use conditional type 3 to express regret in the past. Okay, so and the form that we should follow here, it's if plus subject plus the past perfect, comma, again subject plus would or could plus have plus the past participle. Okay, now I want you to think about it, okay, before I give you the answer. Can you think about it? Well, it's this. If Layla had bought a ticket early, she could have got a front seat at the theatre. As you can see, we have if, Layla is the subject, had bought is the verb in the past perfect. Then we have here, this is the if clause. Then we have the main clause here. We have the subject she plus could plus have plus the past participle of the verb. Now next, F, match each expression with its appropriate function. Okay, so here you have to match these expressions with the functions. Number 1, for me, Moroccan carpets are the best. So what do you think? For me. For me, it's what I think, in my view. Okay, so for me, okay, expresses what? It expresses, can you think about it? It expresses my opinion. It expresses opinion. Number 2, glad to hear that. Congratulations. Okay, congratulations. I am doing what here? I am reacting to something positive. I'm showing my happiness. I'm responding to what? I'm responding to, can you think about it? I'm responding to good news. Number 3, I'm sorry to say it, but this is not the tablet I ordered. So here I am again, I'm showing, it's the opposite. I'm showing my anger. I'm upset. I'm not happy because it's not what I ordered. So what do you think? What am I doing here? I am complaining. Very good. Number 4, I shouldn't have refused his invitation. The party was great. Now, okay, the party, so my friends went to the party. They told me that, you should have come. The party was a lot of fun. And I say, yeah, I should have gone. I should have accepted his invitation. So what am I doing here? I am expressing regret. Now, let's have a look at the last exercise. Exercise G. Complete the following exchange appropriately. So here you have to give an appropriate answer. So you can say anything. It just should be related to the context. So let's see how we can do this. Paul needs some money from his friend James to buy a camera. So you need money. So you need to pay attention to what? To your tone. Your tone. I mean, you should be polite. Okay. So let's have a look at my suggestion here. Could you possibly lend me some money? Okay, so could you possibly lend me some money? So here, this is a polite way of asking someone. And we have James. Let's see how James should respond. And let's have a look at my suggestion. You can say, for example, this. You can say, oh, sorry, I can't. I am broke. It means I'm broke. It means I don't have any money. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.